One, two, one, two, one, two. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, people? I'm your host, Tim Clark, MP to Action, moving people to action on 95.7 FM, The Boss, here in the heart and soul of Omaha, Nebraska, on the north side, doing it live and kicking it with my man, King of all kings, my man, William King. Thank you for your innovation, creation of this station, and really doing the kind of things to remain relevant. So we appreciate that, King. Appreciate that. Let me try to get my. I think I'm out ready for you guys. Trying to go live here. Hey, you guys this morning. I thank you for tuning in. What we're going to try to do here, we're going to talk about some national kind of things, and then locally, some of the things that is happening here, right here in the heartland. We're excited about the movement and everything that's happening here, especially around um, what's happening in North Omaha and South Omaha with the recovery funds due to COVID-19 that's going to be coming down the pipe real soon. I do understand that a lot of folks have received communication already, as far as those allocations, and hopefully they were, your wishes. And when you think about it, I don't know the numbers. We'll have to do a little fact check on this, but there was way more requests than dollars. There was way more, my understanding, way more requests than the actual dollars that that they had to give out. And so with that, everyone is not going to get funded. Everyone is not going to. They're just not going to get funded. It's just not possible. But I think I look at this, as I was telling some folks, I look at this as 1.0. When you think about, over $200 million coming to both of these communities, what's in motion to look at 2.0, particularly the individuals that did not get funded. What are we going to do to work with our senators, elected officials, to start working on 2.0? I know they're talking about a inland airport authority that will be able to provide additional resources and that for stimulating attraction and expansion of companies that will look to do business in North Omaha, particularly in that proposed new North Side business park. And just additional tools that will help create the type of resources to help support the sustainability of what we're talking about as far as building in terms of the North Omaha Business Park. I understand that there is a amendment to, I believe, LB 164, LB 164, that will give Inland Port Authority the ability to set up a system of oversight, but also not only oversight, but really pay attention to what I was talking about as far as attraction and expansion, and helping to really look at building a sustainability, because once you build it, those, saying is, they will come, but you also got to figure out what's going to be your sustainability strategy. um and so there's a lot of information out there, and I don't think it's a bad idea. This is, again, MPT Action is really Tim Clark's personal views and opinions about what's happening. As I look at around the world, right here in North Omaha, as I sit and speak. But I think the ideal of the Inland Port Authority, I think that's a great resource and tool that we can use. Um, but I think in terms of just what's happening now with the dollars that have been allocated for the business park, I believe we need to let that continue um, its course. You have the North Omaha uh, uh, Economic Development Corporation, the Chamber of Commerce, and not Building Bright Futures, but Burlington Capital Real Estate, that's involved with the planning and preparation of the site. Um, and so I think that's in place. I think for future, as we look at that whole sustainability and oversight, I think that inland is a good move. But I think what has took place and what's in place now, I believe we should ride with that. There's an opportunity, and I hope, and I will continue to challenge them openly and publicly, that we take this opportunity and really look at how do we truly build businesses in North Omaha, and how do we build wealth in North Omaha, and how do we take this resource to really make sure that people, the residents, the businesses in North Omaha, they benefit directly. That they benefit directly, not indirectly, but they benefit directly from um, this allocation of funds. And so sometimes, in order to really get that done, um, you got to do some things. You got to kind of go outside the box. So if we don't have a general contractor that can handle that level of work, let's look at going outside the city to find a black construction company that can handle the work, that they can come here to Omaha and begin to um, mentor some of the minority companies because they know how. There's one company in particular, Russell Construction Company out of Atlanta. I know, that they have interest in really looking at Omaha and finding a good fit. But that's a company that understands inclusion and diversity. and mentorship of younger companies and minority companies, and really helping them to build capacity to do the work. And so, again, there's a whole lot of dollars heading this way, and really preparation is key. Um, as we look at what's going to be the accountability pieces, and there's some conversation about, okay, what if the individual, we're talking about the Recovery Act and the funds that's coming to North and South Omaha. And some are saying that, well, if I asked for $1 million and they gave me $500,000, um, I think it's, to me, this is my thinking. I think it's common sense that the Department of Economic Development will basically approach that situation in that we're not giving you the requested resource that you asked for, and in order to scale up or to able to make that grant request um, successful, they would have to go back and ask you to readjust your budget and tell us, for now, for $500,000, in which we're going to give you or grant you, how would you make best use of that $500,000 versus $1 million in which you requested? I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think anything outside of that we should expect. We should expect the Department of Economic Development to work with these individual companies to make the adjustments necessary so they can be successful in whatever amount that they chose. Now, in some cases, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in terms of just, the individuals are going to have to totally pivot. Because if you ask for $1 million, you only got $50,000. Maybe you just need to go back to the drawing board and figure out, if it's $50 of grant money, how can you utilize that grant money to prepare for what's next, or to shore up some infrastructural kind of things in terms of accounting practices, business plan, um, some administrative things, and how do you really adjust for those kind of things. We're talking about grants, not loans. So you got $200+ million that will be given out in grants. And grants really, these are free tax dollars that really, on the end of it, is accountability. So who's going to give that type of resource out without having some level of checks and balances? It's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. Hey, Martine, hello from Ghana. Gideons. I tell you, that's still on the bucket list, Martine. I need to get to the motherland. I feel it in my soul. It's calling me. And I'm going to try to get that done. If not this year, for sure next year. Next year, I'm planning my 60th birthday destination party celebration. And we're looking at going to Aruba for the 60th. Man, my man Jermaine, I see those strong guns that you profiling there, buddy. I'm working on it, brother. I'm working on it. Excellent job, Jermaine. what you're doing with MCC, Youth Forward, you and Elizabeth, knocking it out of the park, doing what's necessary to build an ecosystem to help um, unlock the full potential of our young people by meeting them where they're at and putting them on a path for success. Um, it's a team sport. You can't get it done by yourself. So I want to just wrap up this whole segment about the recovery funds that's coming to North Omaha. This is a time, and I said this last week, and I really truly believe this. This is the time to show gratitude, and I do want to, you know, who says it's perfect? Who says we got it all right? What I'm saying is that let's pause and celebrate what we have. We got some of it right. We got a lot of it right. And there's a whole lot of organizations, hopefully sooner than later, will be celebrating and manifesting some of those aspirations of what they want to do to impact the quality of life in terms of North Omaha, and in a lot of cases also grow their businesses. And small business in this country is a lifeline. We depend on small businesses to help get us up and out. And so as we build ecosystems in terms of South and North Omaha to strengthen our resolve for small business to move from surviving to thriving, these resources and tools will help get that done. And so I just want to pause and say thank you. Thank you to all the folks that have been working on making this happen with our senators, Senator Terrell, McKinney, and Senator Justin Wayne. Thanks for your insight, your leadership, innovation, being creative, because you had to be creative to really accomplish what has been accomplished. And so you got to pause and say thank you. And thank you. I really genuinely thank you guys for your work. Also want to thank our former governor, Pete Ricketts, for his hand in really helping to move the ball in terms of this of the Recovery Act in that phase one. That was huge. Thank you. Tony Gons, former executive director of the Department of Economic Development. Thank you and your staff, and Trayvon Brooks. He's no longer with the Department of Economic Development, but thank you, Trayvon, and your team for overseeing the implementation, the policies, procedures, and all those kind of things. It took a lot of people to get us where we're at. And I just think it's just so important to pause and say thank you. The Empowerment Network for the work and leadership of Willie Barney, facilitating, helping to get people to Lincoln, along with, there was other folks like Willie Hamilton, the Black Men United. A lot of folks came together to help make this happen. It's just too small if you can do it by yourself. It's just too small, Martine, if you can do it by yourself. And that's so important that we look at things that we can together look at building and putting in place. That's important. So thank you. Thanks to all the folks that had a hand in really this reality that we're now waking up to, that is finally here. I wouldn't say the cavalry have arrived, but I think we have a good first start of some resources that I think will help move us towards um, a positive light. Um, and seriously, the things that we can fix and make better. I think we got to have those kind of conversations, real conversations about how do we strengthen the next round, phase two. What's some things we need to change? One of the things I would highly recommend is technical assistance. I think on the front end of even rolling out any dollars or any applications or requests for proposals, I really felt that probably 3 to 6 months before any of that was rolled out, we should have had a very robust technical and capacity building component to prepare people for success. Um, and a lot of folks kind of made their way through it the best way they could or knew how. But I think we would have had stronger applicants and stronger results if we would have really paid attention to the front end, the front end of everything. So, but again, congratulations and thank you to our senators, our local officials. Everybody plays a part. When you write a letter, you make a phone call to the senators, um, telling them your opinions and that you support or you don't support something. It makes a difference. So the mayor's office, Gene Snother, in terms of your role, your staff, our city council representative Juanita Johnson, everyone, thank you for your role. Omaha Community uh, Foundation, United Way. There's City Council, Douglas County Commissioners. So many hands that touched that went into really the formation and really um, helping us be successful. So just gratitude and thank you. I don't think we pause and celebrate and say thank you enough in terms of our wins. This is a win for South and North Omaha. And it's how do we nurture that, take care of it, and show the impact so we can be about the business of working on a 2.0 as far as allocation for North and South Omaha. I just want to, so that's enough of that. Um, let's stay involved. I mean, if there's opportunities to volunteer on committees and let's stay involved. And most of all, let's continue to look at ways to hold each other accountable. Um, and that's an important piece of it. That's a very important strategy around success is accountability. That's very important. I want to just reiterate just from you know previous shows that 2024 for me is a year of self care and wellness. And really, what is that all about? It really is about pausing and looking at the man in the mirror and saying, how can I make a change? How can I become a better person mentally, physically, and really spiritually for me? And taking the time to listen more. If you have a list of things that you normally write down for as just, hey, I want to create my best year yet, and I want to get better. One of the things that's on my list, especially top of the list as a priority is listening more. Is that I really think if I listen more, and that listening for a lot of things, you guys, but mostly listening in terms of my mind and my body, what's going on there, so I can know how to react. But sometimes we don't listen enough. We don't understand what's happening to us internally. And then what else are we listening for? We're listening for direction, our path in terms of just what's next. If we believe that the universe has already ordered our steps, sometimes we just got to figure out what those steps are. I believe that they've been ordered, but if you don't listen, meditate for God, the forces of universe to show and tell you step by step in terms of what's next and how you get to it, it's hard to get to it. That's why so often we spend so much time in discovery of who am I, what's my why, my purpose, my gift, all those kind of things. I don't know. I would love for some of the folks that are tuning in to really, if you have some nuggets that you can share with folks in terms of just how do you really um, do the kind of things to help create balance in your life, and that's what this is all about. How do you be in hot pursuit of creating balance? And I would love to hear some of your thoughts about what are some of the things you're doing to create balance in your life, personal, family, work, all of those kind of things. What are you doing to create balance? And I'm finding, probably my number one challenge is health, especially around managing weight. It's difficult. It is difficult because I have lived long enough to have created some really bad habits. And Krispy Kreme donuts is one of them, Jermaine. I love some Krispy Kreme donuts. I love some chocolate milk. And I like to eat. I like to eat a good steak every once in a while. And I'm not going to say that that's all bad. I think everything in moderation um, is in order. And that's why you have to understand what you can do and what you cannot do that'll really force you off the cliff. And that's getting to know yourself a little bit better for 2024. Get to know yourself. And you get to know yourself by listening more to yourself. That's important. So, look at building a some structure around that, building structure around habits and around really helping you move into um, a place where you feel that you're on track to better yourself. And so, what does that structure and discipline looks like for you? And so, it's you know managing your weight. It's physical activity for me. Um, it's meditation, more time, and really setting some realistic goals. And I try to, this year I'm trying to set shorter goals, and so you can get more of a right now um, um, response to what you've been doing. Is it working? So it gives you time to alter or adjust your goals. But I think you got to set realistic short goals. And sometimes it's day by day, day by day. Um, right on. 401. Stand up for one love. One love. Absolutely. But yeah, it's just day by day, short goals, one day, week, month, quarterly, yearly. Just start just something small, and it could be I'm going to eat more fruit and vegetables today. You know, so I started off. I had some cherries this morning. I had some grapes this morning, some orange juice, and I'm drinking water. I wanted one of my challenges is with my comorbidities and conditions. I got to hydrate more, and I got to drink more water. And so if I can get that done on a day to day basis, and I start off right by doing that in the morning, man, it's a feel good. We got to do the kind of things to that it makes us feel good about being me. It makes me feel good about being me. A friend of mine's in Minneapolis. Um, I used to hang out in Minneapolis. My man Darren and CR, and one of the things this guy used to run this fitness center in Minneapolis. But every time I would see him for just meet and greet, what's up, how you doing, and his response every time would be, I feel good about being me. He said, I feel good about being me. Write that down. I feel good about being me. So when you think about that, what are you doing every day to feel good about being you? And I think you should really start writing those things down and at least for sure observe that of what are you doing to and I kind of change it a little bit. I'd say be good to yourself. And this guy says I feel good about being me, and that I'm saying be good to yourself. He's saying I feel good about being me. That tells me he's already done something. He's already accomplished, and he's already done the work necessary to feel good about being himself. And I end my show with be good to yourself. Take the time to be good to yourself. And sometimes we don't do that. We just do not take the time to be good to ourselves. And I think if there's one thing you should put on that list as well, is take the time to be good to yourself. Because we know if you do that, it makes it so much easier to be around people, to do good for others, all those kind of things. It just makes it a little bit more doable when you take the time to be good to yourself. So that's kind of the health. Um, 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 that's really kind of the health challenge. Um, if you would, go to my page, breathe with me. And that's really, I mean, I think that's the beginning of self-care is learning how to breathe deeper and get more positive effects from your breathing. That's important. And so go and like my page, breathe with me. And really it's you know, learning different techniques and of strengthening your breathing capacity. uh, Excuse me, in terms of your abdominal and your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is your largest muscle in your stomach, and there's ways to strengthen that along with your abdominals. I'm working on those abdominals. I'm trying to get to the point where I can see them again, right? And that's a work in progress every day. Every day I'm hustling and doing what's necessary to get back that six pack, and I'm just not going to give up. So health is important, and you're going to continue to see me talk about that. We talk about some economics, of North Omaha, particularly in terms of what's coming down the pipe here with additional funding to help aid small businesses, not for profits, and infrastructure. That's it's important. Education. Now, um, there again, there's some there's some systems, organizations, individuals that we just don't pause enough and say gratitude and thank you. And I just want to say thank you to Omaha Public Schools, to the administration, to the teachers, to the cafeteria folks, to the security folks, to the landscaping, the maintenance, any and everybody that is putting their hands, minds on helping to mold and shape our young people. Thank you. Thank you. I see you, and I believe most folks see you too. And we're thankful for your commitment, dedication, and utilizing your gift. I believe a lot of folks that are in education and working with young people, I believe that's their divine order, that's their gift, that's their purpose, and you're living that. And so most of them, yeah, although I feel that we should pay our teachers and folks working with young people more. Um, but I think a lot of them are not in it for the money. They're in it for really the impact that they can have on lives. That's a lot of their whys. But I think as the village, as the African American proverb goes, it takes a village to raise a child. That's our part, community. That's our part. How do we help our public schools to be better? They cannot, it's heavy. It's heavy lifting. They cannot do it by themselves. It takes collective thought, collective effort to raise a child. You just cannot do it by yourself. So how can we help as a community? There again, this is Tim Clark talking, right? One, I think it starts at home in preparing our young people to learn and to go to school. And how do we do that? Best we can reinforce what the school is teaching. Um, Little ones, 0 to 5, reading to your little ones every night. Reading to um, infants and that age group, 0 to 5, is so important for us building the foundation. Um, Making sure that they have balance, nutrition, best you can, and structure. Young people, structure, discipline starts at home. And we got to hold ourselves accountable to that. it starts at home. And I mean, if they can get away with it at home, they're gonna try it out outside that home. So it's important. And it's important to have expectations. And then we're talking about education. So how do we um yeah, and my brother Marcus point on teach respect. And I would take that further. I think we also got to teach self-regulation. Self-regulation. Um and decision making, and self-regulation. I wish I would have I don't know if my man Ted Lampkin is listening or watching in, but this whole thing of emotions and managing your emotions. I was with a principal the other day, and the school year so far, they have documented over 140 fights, altercations that have led to some physical exchange. We have to figure out how do we give more tools and resources around self-regulation, of de-escalating situations versus escalating. Those are some things we can do at home. Those are things we can help with in the community. With all these programs, the Boys and Girls Club, Girls Incorporated, um, the list goes on and on. And if the parents, if you don't have the skill set, seek it out. I mean, who was born with the, you know, with a doctoral degree or a bachelor degree or associate degree in parenting, right? So I think it's okay to raise your hand and ask for help, especially in the things that you did not get as far as your upbringing. Ask for help. My guy Tony Sanders wrote a bestseller book around fatherhood, and helping to teach fathers how to have better relationships with their sons. I mean, a lot of fathers out there is like they didn't have a good relationship with their father. So who's going to show them better if they're to do better? So there's resources out there that will help you learn how to be an effective parent, effective mom, um, a father, how to rekindle or build a relationship with your children. That's difficult when you didn't have the modeling in front of you. It's difficult. So no excuses. Is how do we activate the village? Again, we're talking about education. How do we activate the village to put our arms and around our public schools, our teachers, and these schools are so desperately screaming and yelling for help? When you think about almost every societal negative ill, it ends up in that classroom. So the classroom just becomes a picture of what's happening in our communities. So we can expect teachers, administration to solve this all by themselves. We need to solve a majority of those things outside the classroom, things what I call life, and let them be about the business of educating. We got the core principles around educating our young teacher having just be everything in that classroom. We got to help them with that. And we have such expectations for our teachers in these classrooms, but most times we're sitting by watching these things happening and choosing not to participate and get involved. And if you can't physically get involved, there's other ways you can do that. You can encourage other people. You can help resource a school. Even if you don't have a student at that school, you can still be a part of a parent, I believe, a parent PTA as a concerned parent or citizen that just wanting to help. There's ways that we can get more involved. There's a lot of resources out there. Marcus, I mean, hopefully he'll put his link on in terms of the resource that they have at Heart Ministries. There's a lot of resources out there to help these parents. Urban League, um, North Star, 100 Black Men. The list goes on and on. And no, are they doing everything? They're doing some things. They're doing what they can do to contribute. I think everybody have to look at a way in which what they can do to contribute. And that goes back to looking at the man in the mirror, Marcus. And that's really what it should be about. We talking about our future education, our young people. What we do, what we pour into them now will dictate what we're going to have in terms of 10, 20 years down the road. So we better be about the business of pouring some good stuff in those brains. And so we can nurture and really begin to have a greater level of confidence that we're going to be okay. It's going to be all right. As Kendrick Lamar would say, it going to be all right. And it's only going to be all right if we put in the work. You can't just say it's going to be all right and there's no work with it. It's only going to be all right if we do what's necessary to do the work. And there's a lot of folks out there that's putting in that work. I appreciate you putting that out there. Heart Ministries, they have all type of programs. They, of helping support the individual. When it comes to food insecurities, they have a pantry. They have mental health support systems, wraparound programs to really help turn a negative into a positive. And you have, some of it is getting the parents help, mental. There's the stress of parenting these days. So we got to lean on our resources like Charles Root Community Health Center. They have subject matter experts. They have doctors and outreach initiatives. That's here for the community. And you can't force people to open up the door to walk in and ask for help. You just create a door, and hopefully folks will open it up. These resources are out there, and thank you. And that's what really moving people to action in this show is all about. Is you as viewers and listeners being a part of this MP to action. Of you have resources out there, just like you're doing, Marcus. Put something in the feed that's going to help people move to action when it comes to different things. One of the things in education, another piece of education is if someone could put www.mccneb.edu, MCC, mccneb.edu. in the feed as well. People talk about, okay, they're sick and tired of just, working for nothing. I heard a parent say, I'm depressed because I'm just feel like I'm working paycheck to paycheck. My money is gone before I even get it, right? And and I feel like I'm stuck. I'm trapped. Man, there's a whole lot of parents out there that feel that way and individuals that feel that way. But what are we going to do about it? Right? When you think about right here, there is a resource south and North Omaha in terms of Metropolitan Community College, MCC, where you can go and get um, micro certification. Those are certifications, short term, long term. Some of them are less than, most of them are less than 10 months or less in terms of just getting that certification. We just launched an initiative called Career Forward, where we'll be looking at ramping up even more certifications that will lead to a job. Sometimes it's just about skilling up, just altering or just enhancing what that skill already, that giving it a boost that you can move into a higher paying wage, different career. And those are opportunities that you have right here in this community in terms of MCC. And so, I would just, if you just want to inquire about your situation, because remember, it's all about meeting you where you're at. It could be, I had to stop out of high school because I had to work. That's real. We have people stopping out of college to go work. Thank God, some of it, I believe, the majority of it is in fields that they went to school for, and that company said, "Hey, you know what? I need you full time." So they had the job. They call it job out. They had the job out. In some cases, that's a good thing. So how do we skill up our community? We got the North Omaha Business Park coming. We got new companies. We're not so much new companies, but companies expanding um, their footprint to North Omaha. If we don't look at strategies to skill up the workers in North and South Omaha, we'll miss out on opportunities. Then we'll sit and say, wow, company A and B is here in North Omaha, but all the workers are coming from outside of North Omaha. How do we stop that from playing itself out? We really focus on a skilling up strategy for both of these communities. And part of what they said, well, dang, skill up to what? I think we got to really, the chamber, some of the folks that wake up every day to look at really what is the top 10 careers and focus areas as far as what's next in the next 20 years for jobs. We know health industries, it's not going anywhere. There's all type of trades in the health. We know we have to continue to drive automobiles. So we know the wheel industries are not going nowhere. And we absolutely know that IT, information systems, and all that stuff around IT is not going nowhere. The demand's going to increase. And when you think about the impact of AI and what they're projecting in terms of the loss of jobs just behind AI, we're talking about millions. So how do we pivot now, knowing that this is it's coming. We gotta start now. If we wait, it's just too late. So we got to start now. So this whole thing of skilling up, um, go to our website, www.mccneb.edu, and just really look at different areas, different programs that may be of interest. And then just call. You can call 531 622 2400. That's 531 622 2400, and ask for an appointment to sit down with a enrollment navigator, a college navigator, to really begin to um, create a path for you. And that's really so you can unlock the fullest potential where you're at. And that could be, I need to take some remedial classes to strengthen my math skills. A lot of those things you think, well, man, I got bad skills in terms of writing or English or math. There's opportunities, you guys, to work on those areas that you feel are weak or you need to strengthen. And in some cases, probably most cases, is integrated in your field of study. So that it's not like that you have to really um, hunt, for or stop and not do certain things because you feel that you lacking in a certain subject matter. That's what we're here for. We can help you through that. I appreciate you guys tuning in to Moving People to Action. I'm your host, Tim Clark, and this is every Wednesday at 9 a.m. here in Omaha, Nebraska, where we are broadcasting from. Um, and on 95.7 The Boss FM, with our founder, William King. And so, yeah, again, Tim Clark, with host of Moving People in Action. So that's on the education. That's really, I'm kind of out of time, but I wanted to talk a little bit about economics, and what's happening now as far as building an ecosystem around helping to attract, expand, and start up in terms of small businesses. But also, there is infrastructure resources, there is capital projects, and housing initiatives that's going on right now to aid in that. A big um, a big piece is what's happening around education for skilling up so we can get our money up, we can get our job up, we can get everything up. But we got to start with the skill. And so, again, you could visit mccneb.edu to really begin to explore those possibilities, or call 402, not 402, I'm sorry, 531 622 2400. That's 531 622 2300. We have a couple things coming up this weekend. We got the State of North Omaha and African Americans that's going to take place on the campus of Metropolitan Community College on this coming Saturday. I believe it starts at 8. It'll be 8 a.m. to noon, where there'll be a lot of reporting out in terms of the accomplishments over the past year, but more importantly, in terms of not only where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going. What is going to take in terms of strategies to keep moving the needle to where we see better and we're doing better to get to the results that we want. That's happening this Saturday at MCC um, in our culinary art building, building 20, uh, 20 23, 22, 22 culinary art building. And then February 10th, mark your calendars. Uh, I would like to see as many people as possible because of the frigid weather and temperatures. We had to reschedule the MLK March. And so that march is now taking place. Um, it's going to take place on February 10th, that march. And then we're partnering with the MLK Breakfast, and that's going to take place again on February 5th, the breakfast and march. The breakfast will take place from 9 to 12 noon. It'll be held at the MCC Fort Omaha campus, the Swanson building. And that's the same building that the North Omaha, state of North Omaha is going to take place this Saturday at the Swanson building on the Fort Omaha campus. The breakfast on February 10th is free. It will be kind of a free will offering, or either, so either a cash donation or you can bring a non-perishable food item. So a free will offering, a cash donation, or a non-perishable food item, and that will go to support Together Inc., a food pantry. The event is sponsored in part by MCC, P4K, Together Inc., and No Empty Pots, 75 North, UNMC / Nebraska Medicine, United Way of the Midlands. And that really is the breakfast, the MLK breakfast. And for the march, which will take place, that same day, we'll gather at 1:30 on February 10th on the historic corner of 24th and Lake Street, where we will assemble and we'll start the march. We're calling it a march and ride, so because we'll have some vehicles to actually bus to help transport people in the march that physically just cannot walk, and especially if we have weather that's just not cooperating with us. So we want to encourage people to show up at 1:30, go to the breakfast, and then join us at 1:30. We'll gather at 24th and Lake Street. The march will begin at 2 o'clock. When we arrive, we're going to march to Pilgrim Baptist Church, 2501 Hamilton. And there we will have a short program. Our honorary chair for this event is Johnny the Jet Rogers, Heisman Trophy winner. We're going to have multiple speakers, some entertainment, spoken word by Joel Rogers, a message to our young people by the CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of the Midlands, Richard Webb, Millicent Crawford singing the Black National Anthem, and then also Dr. Reverend Cedric Perkins, senior pastor of the Pilgrim Baptist Church, will also be sharing a word on dreams do come true. Dreams do come true. And we too want to thank some of our sponsors, North End Teleservices. Thank you so much, Carmen, for what you do and what you're doing to impact North Omaha. We also want to thank Pilgrim Baptist Church for being a host, a gracious host. I want to thank them for that. Stable Gray, full service public relations and marketing firm. I want to thank 95.7 The Boss for being a partner as well. The city of Omaha, a police department. There again, it's just too small if you can do it by yourself. It takes a team. OPS, um, uh, our interim superintendent Matt Ray. I want to thank Congressman Don Bacon um, for his support. Kenny McMorris, want to thank organization that he leads, Charles Drew Community Health Center. Big thank you. Big thank you for jumping in and helping to support this initiative. NAACP, thank you. T. Michael Williams, thank you for your leadership and passion and commitment to make a difference. It's we all have to do our part, and so thank you for that. So that's again breakfast starts at 9 o'clock for an Omaha campus, 9 to 12 at the Swanson building there on the Fort Omaha campus. Then we're going to transition to gathering on 24th and Lake Street, the 24th and Lake Street for the march bus ride to Pilgrim Baptist Church. Love to see. This is an opportunity. It's on a Saturday. So it's an opportunity to bring your whole family, get them engaged in learning about the legacy and life of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Condolences to his son, Dexter, that recently passed. But this is about, keeping dreams alive is the theme. Keeping dreams alive, and you only do that by really understanding what the dream was all about. So, what are we trying to keep alive, right? And some of the things that we talked about today, as far as equality, economic empowerment, education, those two things really, if not done well or not paid attention to, it creates a whole lot of problems for us. A whole lot of problems for us. So um, that's important. So yeah. So there again, I'm gonna close with you guys. It's time that we focus on skilling up North Omaha and education. It's time that we really focus on putting our arms and resources and thoughts around how do we support our public schools. Okay. And you'll hear, hopefully I'll be able to invite some teachers to come on so they can tell you exactly how you can support them. And we'll have folks come on as far as the Omaha Public Schools Administration. We'll have folks come on from MCC to talk about how you can access some of these resources. But there again, website mccneb.edu. Explore all the possibilities around skilling up trades and associate's degrees and transfer degrees, or call 531-622-2400. That's 531-622-2400. And ask for a meeting with a college enrollment navigator and just kind of tell them where you're at and your aspirations and where you want to go. And they will help you set a path to make some of those things happen for yourself. Okay? A lot going on in the city. Let's stay positive. Negative energy, it kills you. It really has a very negative effect into stress and anxiety. Make somebody smile today. Do what's necessary to make somebody smile and compliment somebody. Say thank you. Say, I like your dang purple you got on. I like your jacket. I like your glasses. I like your smile. Just do something. Be kind. Show love, and just be kind. And, that's not to say at all that I feel that, we should not hold each other accountable. We should not call a spade a spade. All of that's in play. All of that and some is in play. Thank Marcus for putting the number out there. Appreciate that. And that's what this is all about. All of it. This is a big enough playground. I believe it's a big enough playground for us all to play in. And it's just how do we choose to do it, as the brother said, with respect, some degree of self-regulating. And, one of the schools, like I was saying, the principal, 140 fights already in this school period. So there's a whole lot of people not self-regulating. They're just not doing it. And how can we as a community help with some of those mediation skills, de-escalation skills, conflict resolution skills, begin to implement those strategies to help empower individuals as they get into those situations? They have the skill set and the tools to de-escalate and to self-regulate. I'm out, you guys. Do what's necessary to lean forward, self-care, and most of all, take the time to be good to yourself. Right on.
Sing this shit. Are y'all come?
Eternal tape. You're rocking with the